This is Baby Blue Mind. I walk around the earth and talk about what's on my mind, and I'm talking about the benefits of solitude today. The benefits of solitude. And so if you click on this video, you might either be in a position of solitude or just kind of perhaps looking to be in more of a position of solitude than you otherwise would. And so I'm just going to kind of discuss how it sort of operates for me, or just how it might be good morning, it might be sort of interest to you for how you exist in your life. And one of the things that I've sort of faced in my life, because I prefer solitude over social interaction primarily. And now I'm not like a total shut-in or anything like that. Good morning, guys. I'm not like a total shut-in. Like, I have a couple friends. Like, I've been throughout my 20s and 30s, I've been like, you know, in and out of girlfriends and stuff like that, or as I call it, dodging divorces. And so I say that to say that it's not like I live a life where I like live in the woods or anything like that. Like, you can see right here, I live in sort of like a metropolitan area. And I think because I spend so much time alone in a period of solitude, some people in my life or other people sort of have the impression that I'm like really lonely or alone or something like that. And that just isn't really the case, if that makes sense. I think people, if you prefer solitude or you enjoy solitude in the same fashion that I do, I think a lot of people perhaps in your life or just outside might be like, oh man, that person must be like totally miserable because they're alone, or they're, you know, doing their own thing, or they're single as opposed to being in a relationship or something like that. And I always tell them, like, especially with regard to the relationship stuff, and this ain't no like relationship advice channel, just so you know, I'm not gonna be giving relationship advice, but like, I found myself with regard to being single or being in a relationship, I kind of enjoy both. Don't get me wrong, I certainly enjoy being in a relationship with a woman and sort of all the stuff that comes along with that, but I also just really enjoy my solitude. Like, just for example, I was in a relationship for a couple months recently, and then it ended like, I don't know, a month or so ago. And so I went back into this kind of like position of solitude, and there was no change to my happiness whatsoever. It almost kind of surprised me. I was like, how is there no change to my happiness right now? Like, I thought there would be some sort of like, you know, downside to it. But I think just as I've sort of matured as a man, because I got a little bit of white, you know, coming in right here. I ain't saying I'm no wise man or nothing like that. I got a little white on the chin though. I think just sort of as I've matured as a man, I've grown completely comfortable with solitude, basically. And a lot of people say, like, there's plenty of philosophical quotes on that where it's like, you know, I'm obviously paraphrasing, but along the lines of like, you know, a man who is comfortable with himself is like, you know, a fortified man, or, you know, a strong man, a powerful man. Now, that's all well and good, but I think to some degree, especially when it comes to myself, if you're sort of comfortable in that position of solitude, I think there's a certain sense of peace of mind that comes along with that. And I find myself, when I'm in positions of solitude, to have a real peace of mind that doesn't come with the drama of relationships, basically, or the drama of, you know, the life dramas that sort of play out. You're just kind of like insulated from that, which I think is kind of cool. And I'm not saying I'm like swearing off women in general or nothing like that, but I enjoy my solitude. And when it comes to that sort of misimpression that people either in your life or just like, you know, on the periphery of your life might have when it comes to your isolation or your solitude, man, if you prefer solitude in the same fashion that I do, it's not like you have to defend yourself to anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to defend your lifestyle to anybody if you just sort of prefer solitude. Because like, I'll on a couple, if you want to check these out, on a couple of the hey, good morning guys. I'd stop you, but you're running. Have a good one. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah, you don't have to defend yourself for living the lifestyle that you want if you prefer solitude. Like, there's no rule, there's no legislation saying that you can't enjoy your solitude. Like, and there's plenty of people who prefer solitude over, you know, any other sort of lifestyle or existence that you can live. Now, on my channel, one of the things, like, if you do actually want to break out of your isolation, you're just like, I can't do this anymore or anything like that, I also have videos on my channel that describe how I broke out of isolation. So if that's of interest to you, because like, I like sort of having the best of both worlds. I like being essentially out of like isolation or solitude and having like the ability to interact socially and the ability to kind of be out in the world. But I also like, on my terms, to sort of withdraw into myself to do some sort of like self-imposed isolation if that might be beneficial for me in whatever fashion, you know, it kind of suits my sensibilities. So I like having the best of both worlds. Now, if you're just like, man, you're what do they call it? I think it's like a misandrist, perhaps, if I'm getting that word wrong, where you're just like, I can't deal with people, man. Like, I just can't do it. I understand that, man. If you're, I'm just going to use the word misandrist because I think it's right. I'll have to, if I'm wrong, I'll just be embarrassed by using that word. But for now, I'm just going to use the word misandrist as like, you know, the colloquial definition of like, you just can't do people. And I totally understand that, man. I know there's like quotes that say like hell is other people, basically. So if you're in that position right now, like, I feel you, man. I know people can just be like, people can be difficult, man. That's just the nature of other people. So if you're, but man, if you do happen to find yourself in that position where you're just like, I can't do people anymore, I feel you, but man, there's good people out there too. There really are. They might be few and far between. Like, for instance, I live in South Florida, and the ratio of good people to just like people I wouldn't ever want to have a conversation with is very skewed. And I won't go into why that's the case. You can probably sort of like figure it out if you've ever met anybody from South Florida, or like, you know, resided here or seen any videos on the internet of people from South Florida. But yeah, if you're in that position where you're just like, I can't deal with people anymore, I would invite you at the very least just to sort of keep an open mind about it. I know people can be kind of awful, man, but like, there's some good ones out there too. There really are, man. So like, it's tricky to find them, but they exist, man. They do exist. There are good people. There are people you can sort of engage with, and you know, who can be a positive influence on your life if you find them. So I would just invite you to keep an open mind if you do happen to find yourself in that position. Or if you just want to be a misandrist shut-in, knock yourself out, man. There's no legislation saying you can't do that. And I think that you should be able to live your life on whatever terms are appropriate for you, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. And if you're living just in sort of like a real isolated existence, and that works for you, that generates the most sort of peace of mind, happiness, and satisfaction for yourself, I don't think anybody has the right to tell you that that's like not the right way to live your life. Who's anybody to tell you how to live your life if that's what's working for you and that's generating the most peace of mind in solitude? And so, just to recap, I sort of, at least the way that I consider it or I conceptualize it, is that I consider it to be the best of both worlds, to have the option to sort of interact and be social in society and everything like that. And just like, you know, when I'm at work, like I work like a corporate job when I'm not walking around with a visor on talking to people on the internet. When I'm at work, it's not like I just go into myself and just like don't talk to anyone for any reason or anything like that. Like I'm social, I'm sociable. And when, as I've told you, like I've been in, you know, various sort of relationships throughout my lifetime. So it's not like I'm just completely walled off from the world, but sometimes I prefer to wall myself off from the world just for, you know, whatever reason, whether it be sort of like regeneration, personal growth, or whatever that might be. And so I hope this video, maybe you've been able to relate to it or something like that. This is baby blue mind, baby blue like the color, mind like mine that sort of prefers to be able to engage in society, but also to withdraw into solitude sort of as I please. That's just sort of I kind of how I live it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or it's sort of the be all end all, but that's how I sort of play the old game of life. Baby blue mind, please like, comment, and subscribe. I wish you all the best in your personal and professional endeavors, and my rant is hereby over.